What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another garage build update video. I believe we are now on part 4 of our garage build, and there hasn't been a ton of major updates to the garage. We did have one that was not possible recently, and it was more because I had some issues with trying to get this coordinated and get it set up. And we'll talk about this one in a second. I did 2 other major mods in here. One I absolutely love, the other one, honestly, it could be better. I'm going to talk about it and tell you why I'm thinking that. And then we have a third one that we're gonna do here just in a bit to show you to fix one of the other issues that I have with this garage. And if we wanna say that we have a 4 mod, a little bit of decoration going on the walls, we can call that maybe a 4 mod. But let's jump right into it. So the first problem that I wanted to tackle on this build, at least for this video, was the lighting issue that I had. Now, if you haven't been able to tell yet, we do have a lot more lighting. The whole garage is a lot brighter, and that's because of this lighting mod that I did. I added a bunch of LED bars all along the garage, kind of a similar setup that I had on my old one, but actually a lot better. This one also was super affordable, and we're talking about less than $100 for this amount of light, which I'm also very happy and proud that I was able to do it for such cheap amount. And I'm gonna leave links in the description for you guys so you guys can pick it up or look at them if you want to. If you're thinking about doing this mod, I definitely recommend. I had them on now for 4 or 5 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that. Actually, they've been working out great. The way I had it set up now, it's basically I just turn on my light switch by the door, nothing's been changed over there, and then everything comes on. And it's, as you can tell, super great lighting in here. It makes it easier to work in here, especially at night. I mean, right now we're talking it's 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., something like that. You wouldn't be able to tell because as long as you don't open that door, I mean, it is bright in here. So, and as you can tell here, we have about 8 LED bars. They are all 5-foot long bars. They all connect to each other. And then we have one little switch here going into the light socket, which has a little adapter, turns it into a power source basically, and that I can just flip it with my light switch here by the door. So that makes it extra easy to do. And then just look at the amount of lighting that we're getting. I mean, we are bright all throughout the garage. So I'm very excited at that, very happy with how this turned out, especially for about $80, I think is what I paid for this. I know it was less than $100. It is totally worth it. If you're thinking about doing one mod to your garage, I would say definitely add some LED lights into it. And then I'm gonna show you here, let me just flip the switch down. This is what we were working with before. I mean, if you don't think that's a huge difference, maybe we are not on the same page on this. You can work with this. The camera is making this lighting, giving it a lot of help, making it seem a lot brighter in here. And it's not bad. I mean, you can definitely work with this if you need to, but just flipping the switch and just getting this amount of lighting, I mean, it just makes me happy every time I get in here. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to pick this up. I'll leave a link for the little adapter thing too. If you guys want to do it the same way I did it, you're welcome to. So now we're gonna move on to the second thing I kind of wanted to fix in this garage, and that was insulation. Basically, I live in Texas. We have a lot of that Texas heat, humidity and everything. So I wanted to have a way, especially for my garage door, to kind of be insulated as best as possible, or at least as much as it could be insulated. Just because that door being all metal is going to trap a lot of the heat inside of the garage. It's going to trap a lot of the cold as well. And I just kind of wanted to prevent that as much as possible, especially because I was planning to put a mini split in here. So then that would also help keep that AC or that heat inside of the garage as well. And I went with this material you see here in the back. I'm gonna show you here in a bit. And honestly, I wasn't a big fan of this. And a lot of it has to do with user error. That was definitely, I never done this before. So that was the first time I used and worked with this material. I know it could be done a lot better, especially for someone that's done it before potentially. I know if I try to do this again, I would do it a lot better. There's still a lot to it that I don't like. All right, and this is just the whole door. And you can probably already tell where some of the problem areas that we had, especially along here. This was, again, more of a user installation error. This was definitely more my bad on this. And you can see here where I did it a little bit better, but there's still stuff about this I don't like. Basically, this is kind of a foil foam kind of mix, and it's very thin. Let me see if I can show you here. You know, it's not super thick, it's kind of thin. And how it goes on the door is you have to put this kind of tacky tape on the top. You put some on this section as well, two lines of it. And then you'll put some right there on the edge and then one on the other edge. Now keep in mind, these rolls are not to the size of your door. So you do get a little extra that you have to cut off. They do not come with these areas cut out, right? So you can already tell where probably my gripes with this material is. Since those things are not cut out, it kind of depends up to you to cut them out, right? You also run into the issue of you can't tell once you start putting it on and cutting it out. You can't tell exactly where this ends or where it starts. I mean, you can kind of get yourself an idea. And I know if I did it again, I'd probably be a lot better at cutting these things out. Being that they're not cut out, being that they're not kind of pre-perforated or anything like that, you start running into issues where maybe you started cutting it somewhere here, that's where it started, turns out it wasn't. Some of this ones, you like this one, for example, that's a lot better in there. But then again, this is after a bunch of trial and error. And the problem is you only get the right amount of panels for your door. So you only get 4 long strips of this material. You basically have to cut it the best you can. And here, for example, we started cutting part of it. I didn't have a chance to undo this. So as I started cutting into it, you can tell here, it just went sideways. It just started going the wrong way. I wasn't able to catch it until it was too late, basically. Not the best, in my opinion, for a clean installation, for something that's gonna look professional, that you want it to look good. This is not the way to go for me. So if you used this in the past and that's worked out great for you, I mean, awesome. I'll leave a link if you wanna go check it out and see the reviews and give it a try. I mean, that's up to you. I just wasn't super impressed by it. The installation, definitely, you can do it by yourself. I did it by myself, but it definitely would help to have someone to kind of help you hold it and do the cutting and all of this, just because it's just tedious, man. I'm just telling you, for someone that does a lot of stuff by himself, I wasn't impressed with this. I wasn't super happy with this. So I'm most likely gonna be looking for the panel, the second option, where I can just put them inside there and have a cleaner look, hopefully. Now, the third thing that I wanted to fix was basically power outlets and power sources. Being a small garage and everything, I only have basically 2. One of them right behind on the back wall, far away from everything. If I need to do anything on my driveway, anything towards the front of the garage, I definitely don't have a way to hook into that unless I have an extension cord. And then my second one is right above where the garage motor is. So there's not more power outlets in this garage. Eventually, I would like to get some on the walls, but as an immediate fix for that, we're gonna actually install today a 30-foot long extension cord. Is gonna hang from here, right above me. And then that's gonna be very central spot for us, so that way we can pull it and put it anywhere that we need to. Let me just go ahead and install this and we'll see how it works. So this is the kind of extension cord I'm going with. This is a retractable extension cord. This is about 30 feet long inside of here, and it's super easy installation. If you just saw me doing it, basically we have a bracket that goes in here. You have 2 screws, and then you have a small metal bar with a pin that basically holds this thing in place so that way it doesn't fall off. And you can also remove it easily if you need to, in case it's hanging out or you need to get out of the way for any reason. And then here, we're gonna move it into this plug. That's where we're gonna connect it. And then we should be pretty good. So let me just put it up there so I can show you guys. But yeah, super easy. You can find this for a longer cord if you need to. I thought 30 feet was gonna be enough for me. And then the way that it attaches compared to some of the other ones that are longer, it was gonna work better for me. So that's why we went with this one. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys wanna pick one up. But so far, seems to be pretty decent. I mean, it's just an extension cord. There's nothing crazy. And we have 3 plugs here. We also have a little light to make sure we're not tripping anything. And we have a button here in case it does. So pretty simple, just an extension cord. But this is gonna fix my problem of not having power whenever I'm on that edge of the garage and I need to do something. And then I do have an extension cord here, but again, this is just gonna keep everything cleaner and out of the way when it's not being used, as opposed to having this, which I'm gonna fix eventually by putting some hooks on the wall or something. So let's just finish this and I'll show you how it looks. And there you have it, super simple. Again, swivels around, moves around if you need to. It's plugged right where I need it to be plugged. And then we have our 3 extra plugs here. And this, we can just pull it how you need to. It does seem to have a bit of a range of where it kind of stops. I would say that's probably the only maybe bad thing about this so far. But as far as going back, you do not want to let just go. It's gonna swing and hit your car or something like that. So definitely walk that back to where it needs to be. But yeah, now we have 3 extra plugs for any tools, power tools or anything like that we need. And then once it's not being used, it can just be nice and neat up there out of the way. I do kind of wish this was maybe a little bit shorter and it wouldn't stick out so far, but we can maybe move this ball here. I haven't actually tried it. Yeah, we should be able to move this. So I'm gonna work on moving this so it's a little bit higher up. It doesn't need to be so low for me. I'm a tall guy, I have the reach so I can actually touch this. So if it's a little bit higher, that works better for me. That was a little bit more out of the way. You don't bump your head or anything like that. But that fixes our power issue. Now let's move on to the next one. And I was able to move the little ball so this can actually kind of store itself a little bit higher, which is great. But as you can tell now, if I need to plug something on the other end of the room, this extension cord reaches all the way over here without a problem. This is not even extended the full way. So I have power on this corner, power on the other one, anywhere in the room. And then when I'm done with this, I can just roll it back up and out of the way. So, you know, it's the little things for me, at least, I guess, for this. Once it's out of the way, out of sight, I don't have to mess with it. I don't have to roll it back up. I like small stuff like that. It makes my life easier, makes my life happier with this. So now it's out of the way. I don't have to mess with it. So pretty excited about adding that little bit of extra power outlets to my garage. And now we're gonna move on to the next thing. Now, I've been talking about having a mini split in here for a while, and honestly, I can't believe how hard it's been to get one in here. I seen these things priced online, and I seen them on Marketplace and everything. I mean, you can find some very cheap mini splits on your local marketplace on Facebook or something. But I can't believe how hard it is to find one with the specifications that I need. Reason being, I do have an HOA. I do need to have the unit that it sits outside of the garage be kind of hidden, kind of out of the way, and I have a fence that I need to basically reach on it, and the space between where my garage is, where I can put the mini split in here, and that fence, it seems to be about 10 foot long. Well, most of the people that are selling these mini splits, there are on 13-inch long lines. 13 feet lines, and that is a problem because you don't have enough range from the mini split to where the unit needs to be. And I asked around several times. I asked around with companies and everything, and they either can do it, they don't have the lines that go that long, or if they're able to do it, they're wanting to charge me an absolutely ridiculous amount. I don't have a ton of money for this. This is all coming out of my pocket, so I want to save as much as possible where possible, and just paying $2,000 to $2,500 for a mini split install just seems kind of ridiculous to me. I'm kind of opposed to paying that, especially when some of these units are being sold online for $800. I just don't think $1,200 or $1,000 for just installing this is worth it, in my opinion. So what it's gonna come down to is I'm gonna have to just buy one of these units myself, and I'm gonna spend $1,000 between buying the unit, buying the vacuum pump that I might need for all this, any lines, any extra stuff in there. But at least I'll know it'll be done the way I want it to, and it'll be done hopefully the right way and with everything how I want it to be. Because the units online, they do have 16-foot long lines, and some of them have even longer lines, and they are around $800 or so like that. So I think that's gonna be my best option to go with that. And it's unfortunate because I wanted to have this in here for weeks, and I just haven't been able to find someone that's decently priced, that has the amount of line that I need, and that is able to do it here without a hitch. And it's very unfortunate. So that hopefully is going to be at some point in here. I just need to save up a little bit of money, find the right unit, find the right tools and the right stuff to do it, and I'll probably do it myself. I don't know if I'll film the whole thing. I might do a little video on it. Definitely wouldn't be hard to do it because I don't mess with AC lines, AC compressors, and all of that stuff that much. So it's all gonna be a learning experience for me. But if you wanna see it, just let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll make something like that happen. And the last bit of changes to the garage here has been just a slight decoration. You've probably seen some of these banners right here. I got my race, the concept is racing banner back here. I also have a few other banners here. Let me show you. We got a few other banners in here. If you are into music festivals, you might recognize some of these ones. very big into music festivals too. So we're gonna showing that side of it here. We got our snap-on temperature gauge over there. We do have a couple of the ones that haven't gone up. I have my US flag here, my Beltec banner underneath there, a Halo banner. If you're into gaming as well, you might recognize this one. This is from Halo 3. It was a banner that my cousin gave me and I kept for the years. We used to be big Halo fans. Trying to fix my flag here. We don't want it to be all messed up. Yeah, we're gonna put those over here on the side. Hopefully give this room a little bit more of a personality. I've been meaning to find some paint we can go ahead and paint the walls, but honestly, I just haven't come up with a good color that I like. I just haven't found one that kind of speaks to me. And I didn't want to do it gray because we have our floors basically gray. So I don't want to have the whole room be gray. Same thing with the ceiling. I initially wanted to do that acorn black and stuff, but I just feel like it's gonna make this room feel a lot smaller. And that's definitely something I don't want because the room is already small to begin with. So yeah, that's kind of the changes that have been happening in the garage. Again, not a ton of major changes, but just a few good ones that I think have made this room just feel a little bit more cozy, a little bit more at home. Better lighting for sure. The insulation is up to debate whether it's working great or not. But yeah, just making this room be a lot better for me. So that's basically all I have for today, guys. Links for anything that I use here, anything that you might be interested in are gonna be down in the description. So check them out. If you're thinking about doing anything like this, I'd recommend going with the stuff I went. You'll find that in the bottom. And again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following the channel. I know I talk to a lot of you guys on Instagram as well. So hit me up on Instagram, follow me there. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, keep up with us. And hopefully we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye. All right, guys, this is how exactly it looked like before. Now I'm standing